Kodi Maurice Doggett.
Hello, darling.
Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing today?
I am very good. Thank you for calling in. I'm not sure if you heard our guest earlier.
I did.
Yeah, to get out the political vote, right? Not bad, right?
Yeah, it's great. I love that. Being politically aware is so amazing, especially during these times when we need to get out there and express our voices. So it's so needed. So thank you for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you and I had a great show last night on Tags Live. We were talking a lot about fetishes, and we're going to talk a little bit more about open relationships. But before I get into that on our conversation, is you had a story about our sponsor, Manscaped, and the first time you tried to shave your ass. Can you just tell us what went wrong?
Yeah, it was a mess. So I remember shaving my butt for the very first time, and I just broke out all over the place. And it was just like painful to sit back there. I got so self-conscious. And it just wasn't a good experience. And I find that using the Manscaped is better for me because it's the perfect length to avoid like ingrown hairs and unsightly breakouts and things of that nature. And then on top of that, the Crop Preserve ball deodorant that we use has a wonderful cooling effect. It smells amazing and has an anti-chafing effect too. So it's trifecta right there. It's amazing.
I love it. Absolutely. I love it so much too. So last night on Tags Live, we were talking about open relationships based on an article that we started to read about in Instinct magazine. And just for people that didn't watch last night, the article was entitled "Many Gay Couples Are Having Their Cakes and Eating Them Too." Essentially, the times when you go on Scruff, Grindr, you're seeing couples looking for a third, and we were kind of breaking all that down. That episode is coming out on Monday, so you can listen to more of what we were talking about. But we thought it would be interesting because there was so much to talk about open relationships, and I think my first thing I wanted to point out in open relationships was the notion, Kodi, of thrupples, which that truly, in some mindset, might be having your cakes and eating it too, and I couldn't help but thinking all the examples, and it's not really open relationships when you're in a throuple. I know I'm kind of deviating a little bit, but I thought there's some room here to kind of talk about that, and then we'll get into traditional just open relationships. But there's been a lot of examples that I've seen. We had a guy on a show that has a web series it's on a streaming platform called The Third, and it's really good. And you should watch that. It's called The Third.
Okay.
You are a big RuPaul Drag Race fan, and currently Derek Barry, who seems to be popping up all over the place, is in a throuple himself. And then there's an author that I had on the show, David P. Wickman, who wrote a book, and I'm showing you right now, called Every Grain of Sand, this book, by the way, is riveting it's really a memoir of his life on addiction, and really it's kind of a spiritual journey. It's really riveting, and I highly recommend it. And I actually asked David real quick before we got on air here to ask, like, what's been your experience in a throuple and being open? And he said, we were open. I'm quoting him. We were open, and we played together a lot, and at play parties, the three of them, we encouraged each other's slutty behaviors, he writes. We often had others, and the three of us played in tandem. It was epic, and still is, he says sometimes. And they've been in a long-term throuple relationship. David P. Wickman, Every Grain of Sand. What do you think of, before we get into open relationships, the notion of being in a throuple, Kodi?
Well, the saying "more money, more problems" kind of comes to mind. when it comes to Thrupples, because it's like more partners, more problems is kind of what I equate it to. Because I don't know, for me, it's hard enough to like relate to somebody, to make sure that I'm involved with somebody, paying enough attention to somebody with just one partner, but I can't imagine having to navigate having two partners at the same time. So, but you brought up what I thought, what I thought about immediately when you posed the question, was Derek Barry and his two partners, and they seem to be working it out just fine. So again, if you can do it, more power to you. Me personally, I don't know. I'm not a good multitasker, I guess.
You know, in that, not to give any away of the third, and that how that worked out, and I hope they have a season 2, but it gets dramatic in there. In some ways, right, you know, you and I talk oftentimes about the difficulty of just finding one person, but sometimes I think it could be nice just because you could go with one person at times, and I think we have this notion that they're always like sleeping together and they're always this. I think they are all individuals in the end, and doing their own thing. It's just that they all feel that thing you feel when you are in love with somebody and you connect with somebody, and I think that's what gets lost a little bit about a lot of this. And to bring it back to just open relationships in general, on our conversation yesterday, that you were a lot more, I think I was a little bit more critical about the idea of open relationships, on how they can just go wrong, and what is it that you're missing from your partner. But I think you can have a deeper mental connection and a soulful connection with somebody, and us gays have done a really good job of separating that sex can just be sex, but to have a deep connection with somebody is totally special and different, and it's based upon the fact that our history has shown us that we didn't have a lot of great examples, and we had to look for love in all the wrong places, or maybe the right places, and you know, I'm not mad at it, and I think that when it's a natural thing that often happens within our community, and I think it has nothing to do with the love that may be the solid base of that relationship on why they first got together in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I look at that, like, I can see where it stemmed from. It's like a big FU, basically, to heteronormative monogamous relationships. So I get it from that standpoint, but at a certain level, you have to like look within and say, is this something that I'm really comfortable with? Is this something that I am? Because it goes from one end of the spectrum to the other. Like, am I just doing this to conform to, because this is the way gay culture is telling me I have to be, as opposed to straight culture? So it's just all about personal preference. It's what it boils down to for me.
I agree. I totally agree. And did you love how I brought Derek Barry in the
Thank you so much. A little light came on inside of me. Thank you so much.
I am living for the new reality show on Friday nights, by the way, of them in Vegas with their show. I think it's really, I'm loving it.
I wonder if Derek Barry and his husband, how many bedrooms are actually in that house? Because I'm like, well, they can't all be sleeping in that bed all at the same time.
You know they're not. No, I agree. You know, one of the things I was just talking about, and we were talking about yesterday on fetishes, to go back to fetishes, is they were saying one of the safer things you can do is glory holes, because someone's not breathing on top of you. And we were kind of breaking it down on Tags Live last night with Renan. And I was saying, as sort of a, size queen, that I'm kind of for the glory holes, because if you put a big dick, someone slides a big dick in there, I don't need to necessarily know what the face is all about. But in talking to my sister today, I was just talking about it before you got on the call, that she went to a bar recently that did a really good job of socially distancing, and they really put up plexiglass all over the place, including like in the bar above, from like the roof down, and there's a room to put the drink and money, but you can talk to people, the bartender, through this kind of plexiglass type thing. And I thought, what if us gays got creative and created plexiglass glory holes where you could then see the person? Would that ruin it all for me? Because not only would I see the cop, but I would see maybe, oh, it's that. Or would I be equally excited? I don't know.
It's not just a disembodied dick. It's there's a person attached to it.
There is? And do I like the person? I would have to go through a whole mental process now on, do I like the person that's I'm looking at, or...
I think that's high. I'm all for it. Let's do it. Yeah. Stephen Kodi's glory hole plexiglass emporium on deck.
Hey. I'm not mad at it too. I think, right? I mean, yeah.
Yes.
I think it could be kind of a hot thing too. And the other thing I was talking about that we didn't tap into yesterday on Tags Live in our conversation about fetishes was, have you ever experienced rope play where someone's tied you up or you tied somebody else up? It's pretty advanced. And when I say advanced is that the tire up, the person that knows, the rope expert, kind of has to know what they're doing. And I'm like a hot mess with tools and everything, so I'm a better tie up. But I love the feeling of being tied up, the feeling of the rope. And if you can then find an expert that has the rigs that can hoist you up, that's even more like amazing and hot. Have you ever experienced that rope play?
I have never experienced I haven't dated any Eagle Scouts, unfortunately. So
I love it.
I have been handcuffed to a bed before, which is pretty hot. Yes. And also, I have, like, in the back of my mind, in my fetish bank of things that I want to try.
Yeah.
Actually being tied up, like, in a doorway, kind of, sort of, like, with, like, kind of like an X. Like,
yes, I know.
2 arms up,
yep.
2 legs down, basically. So, yeah, that is something I'm kind of, that's what I want to try, too, also.
One of the things we talked about is, when you get deeper into some of these fetishes, is the trust factor that you have to have. And obviously I'm assuming that you trusted the person that handcuffed you and tied you up to the doorway, because that can also get very scary.
We were in a long-term relationship.
Okay, there you go.
It was,
He's like,
so,
if you promise to wash the dishes more and suck my cock, I will untie you. And So you were sucking a lot of cock, I take it. Yeah.
Hey, I gotta do what I gotta do to get out the handcuffs, right?
Yeah, no one's twisting your arm. Well, Kodi, before we go, we want to finish up a game that we started that I played with you, where it's name that song based on lyrics. And we played it last time we were online here on Sex with Stevie, where I gave you 3 different songs and you bombed. And the time has come for you to list some lyrics, and I'm going to see if I can name that song. Go.
It is revenge time. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, all right. So this one is, think it's time we got this straight. Sit and talk face to face. There is no way you could mistake him for your man. Are you insane?
Oh my God. I think it's time we got it straight. Oh. Is it like...
You want me to keep going?
Yes.
See, I know that you may be just a bit jealous of me, but you're blind if you can't see that his love is all in me.
Is this like Brandy or somebody? I don't know.
But it's Brandy and somebody else.
Oh my God, it's Brandy and Monica?
It's Brandy and Monica.
Oh my God, I got it.
You got it.
I cannot believe I got it.
And I chose that one because when they did their verses, I texted you and you were like, "Oh, I know this Monica song," and I thought it was so cute.
Oh, good. I'm so glad I got it. Okay, good. Phew. All right. I'm one for one.
One down.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna go with the next one.
Okay.
Ready? How many nights I've laid in bed excited over you. I've closed my eyes and thought of us 100 different ways. I've gotten there so many times, I wonder how about you. Day and night, night and day.
Janet Jackson.
Yes! I told you I set you up for success.
Wait. What's the name of the song?
What is the name of the song?
Day and night. 100 times. From the Demita Joe album.
No, it's not, unfortunately.
Oh, wait. Well, tell me.
It's If.
If. Yes. Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. At least I'm in the artist. I get half credit, right?
You get a full credit because you do it way better than I did. All right. Are you ready for one more? All right. This is a little bit more difficult, but I still think you're going to get it.
Okay.
All right. I guess I should have known by the way you parked your car sideways that it wouldn't last. See, you're the kind of person that believes in making out once, love them and leave them fast. Guess I must be dumb. Had a pocket full of horses, Trojans, and some of them used. But it was Saturday night. I guess that makes it all right. And you say, what have I got to lose? Honey, I say.
Oh. Is this Lettucey?
No, it's not.
Saida?
No.
Oh,
not Saida.
darn it.
It's one of the artists that you did for me. It's
Oh my God.
Corvette by Prince.
Oh my God. Okay. Shoot. Prince. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Wow.
You did great though.
All right. I did okay. That was fun. It's hard though.
Fun.
It's hard.
It's more fun from my position than it is.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to like brace yourself and be like, try and get into the moment. And yeah, I agree. It's not so fun on this end. Come up with some more fun games where it's fun on both our sides.
Okay.
No, but I loved it. Thank you, Kodi.
I had a great time too.
Absolutely.
Thank you, darling. Have a great night, okay?
You too.